Hello everyone and welcome to a brand new Pokemon TCG video. So the deck that we're actually going to be taking a look at today is going to revolve around Aurorus. So we're going to be focusing on using his Ice Shield ability. Pretty much what this does is it lowers the amount of damage that our Pokemon takes by 20 damage for each of our Pokemon that actually have a water energy attached to them. So this deck is more so going to be a fun type of deck as opposed to a competitive deck. Definitely very nice type of deck though. I mean, the key idea is that you want to get as many of these guys out into the bench as early as possible, and you pretty much want to make an invincible Seismitoad EX with its Quaking Punch ability, pretty much disrupting our opponent's ability to play any item cards. I mean, dealing with an invincible Seismitoad EX is going to be extremely annoying. So that's the key idea, and I mean, if that really wasn't enough, we're also going to be attaching the Heart Charm just to stack on a bit of extra protection on our Pokemon. We're also going my apologies guys. We're also going to be running a couple of Pokemon Center Lady. This is pretty much to heal our Seismitoad EX once again. And again, another card that we're actually going to be running as well is the Gold Potion Ace Pack card. Probably the only time you ever want to run this type of Ace Pack. I mean, generally speaking, it's a very crappy Ace Pack card, but I mean in this type of deck, it actually works extremely well. My apologies guys, I've actually been kind of sick over the past couple of days, so my voice might actually not sound the greatest right now. I really do want to apologize for that, but let's go on with the analysis. So we're also going to be running just one Suicune with its Safeguard ability to prevent our opponent's EX Pokemon from actually doing any type of damage to us. And the fact that we can repeatedly heal him, he can actually be a pretty powerful and annoying Pokemon to deal with, so we are going to be running just one copy of him as well. So now I'm going to be talking to you guys about some of the atypical supporter cards that we're actually going to be running. As you can see right off the bat, we're going to be running 4 Fossil Researchers. By no means a good supporter card, but we really need it with respects to the fact that we're running Amora and Aurorus, because I mean, unfortunately for us, Amora is a fossil Pokemon, so if we were to have him in our hand, we wouldn't be able to play him, so we need Fossil Researchers. We're going to max out that amount. We're going to be running 4 copies of this just to try and load up our bench nice and early. Otherwise, our deck is not going to be performing at the level that we actually want it to. So 4 copies of Fossil Researchers. Another very atypical supporter card that we're actually going to be running, guys, is the Shauna as one of our supporter cards. The reason that we're actually going to be running Shauna is because we don't want to discard any valuable cards. So the thing with Professor Juniper is that it would tend to I mean, the whole thing is that you may be giving up those precious Amoras or Aurorus. Definitely don't want that, so we're going to be running 4 Shaunas instead. It's actually also going to work quite nicely in that if we actually hand, Shauna's going to reshuffle our hand, and the thing with the Fossil Researcher supporter card is that it only allows us to search for these Amoras from our deck. So if we were to actually have them in our hand, it would be completely useless. So again, I feel like this is the supporter card that you guys want to be using as opposed to the Juniper that we typically would. We're also going to be running 3 copies of N, 1 Colress, definitely going to come in very handy later on in the game. As you guys can see, we're not actually using any supporter cards that are actually going to force us to discard our hand, namely speaking Professor Juniper, again because we don't want to give up those crucial cards. Some other cards that we're actually going to be running as well, we're going to be running 1 copy of Town Map. So the whole purpose of Town Map is that in case any of our Amoras or Aurorus are actually prized, we'll be able to see where they are and draw those out nice and early into the game. Town Map is going to be very handy, so we are going to be running just 1 copy of that as well, guys. Some other cards that we're going to be running is, I've already discussed the Heart Charm. Just to try and make the most out of our Seismitoad EX, we're going to be running 4 copies of Hypnotoxic Laser in combination with 2 Verbank City Gym. We're going to be running 2 VS Seeker, 3 Ultra Ball. The rest of the cards are pretty self-explanatory. I'm just going to briefly discuss the Starling Megaphone. Starling Megaphone is going to discard all Pokemon Tool cards attached to our opponent's Pokemon. We definitely need this in case our opponent is actually going to be running Seismitoad EX, my apologies, not Seismitoad EX, Garbodor, because Garbodor pretty much shuts down the entire abilities of our deck. So Starling Megaphone is going to help us get rid of those tool attachments to an opponent's Garbodor. And we're going to be running a total of 11 energy cards, 9 of them being water, 2 of them being double colorless. Normally I would actually run more double colorless energy than just 2 copies, because Seismitoad EX, typically you want to max out the number of double colorless energy, but unfortunately one of the drawbacks to Aurorus special ability is that our Pokemon actually need water energy attached to them. So for that reason specifically, we are going to be running a lot more water energies as opposed to double colorless. Again, otherwise we don't get that extra defensive insulation. So that's pretty much it, guys. We're gonna go right ahead and see how well this performs. Again, it's sort of a fun type of deck, so I mean, you can't really expect it to do too well competitively, but it can be extremely powerful and annoying to deal with once you actually do get it set up. Again, guys, my apologies for my voice, because I am feeling a little sick right now. Not sure why it stopped searching for an opponent once my trade was completed, but yeah, so my apologies for that, guys. I know I had mentioned to you guys that I would actually be doing a pack opening video upcoming sometime soon. Unfortunately, I'm actually going to lay off of that until after I finish my exams, just because I want to gather a few more packs. I want to open a fair amount of packs, like at the very bare minimum 50 or so, just to make it more worthwhile of you guys' time. And I feel like the pack that I'm probably going to be opening is going to be not Phantom Forces this time, probably going to be the Boundaries Crossed, or maybe even Plasma Freeze, because I feel like I've gotten more or less all of the cards that I actually need from the Phantom Forces set. Okay, so pretty good start for us right off the bat. We already have the Fossil Researcher, so we can start loading up our bench, so that's very nice for us. I'm definitely going to play that right off the bat. As soon as we can actually get all that energy insulation, the more powerful our Seismitoad EX is going to be. So let's go right ahead and grab 2 Amoras, attach the Heart Charm to our Seismitoad EX, and a Water Energy. And with that, I'm going to have to end our turn. Really hoping that our opponent actually is not running any copies of Leafeon, because I mean, our Pokemon is extremely susceptible to Leaf Pokemon. So what type of strategies our opponent running? I mean, he's running a lot of atypical Pokemon. Definitely not the type of strategy I would be used to seeing. And okay, so Sylveon might be very annoying to deal with in that he's going to be moving around our energies. So definitely do want to get rid of him early. I mean, he's going to be moving the water energy to one of our bench Pokemon, so it's not really something good. I mean, luckily I actually do have the double colorless energy. Hopefully I can get some hypnotoxic lasers and get rid of that Sylveon nice and early. I mean, otherwise he's just going to keep shuffling around our energies, which is not something that we really want. If we really have to, I will bring out the Aurorus and use his Icy Wind ability next turn by using the switch again. But I mean, for now we're just gonna have to attack, and probably gonna get our energies shuffled once again. I'm probably going to use the Fossil Researcher to load up our bench with a couple more Auroras, just so that we get that maximum damage insulation nice and early into the game. And if we actually do get that, it's pretty much going to be our game. I mean, our Pokemon are going to be insulated from like 80 damage or so, and then we're going to be repeatedly healing them. So it's going to be very difficult for our opponent to actually deal with our strategy once it actually is running. So that's very nice for us. But I mean, again, Sylveon's very annoying at the moment. He keeps on shuffling around our energies. I'm assuming he's probably going to bring it to our Amora, and looks like I was actually right. He's only 50 damage. You know what? I'm going to go right ahead and bring out the Amora. Just to knock out that Sylveon. Don't want him to cause a lot of trouble for us later on in the game. And I'm gonna go right ahead and grab out our remaining 2 Amoras. So let's go right ahead and do that, and then knock out the Sylveon and draw out a prize card. Okay. So unfortunately our Seismitoad EX is benched at the moment, but that's okay. We actually do have another switch card that we're running, and if anything I will retreat the Amora just so that we can get a couple more cards. But again, even this Amora can be relatively powerful with all the damage insulation we might be providing him. Not really sure what type of deck our opponent's running. Doesn't seem like a very powerful deck. Actually seems sort of like it could be a beginner type deck, but I don't know. Surprised I actually got paired up against this opponent. But let's see, so I'm going to go right ahead and attach a Water Energy to our Seismitoad EX, and then I'm going to go right ahead and Shauna for a new set of cards at hand. I feel like that would be the wisest choice. And okay, so I could actually bring out another Aurorus. Let's see if I actually want to do that. No, you know what, for now I'm not actually going to bring out another Aurorus. don't feel like it's really going to do anything. I don't really foresee our opponent being able to do a lot of damage to us at the moment anyways. And our Aurorus is actually insulated by 20 damage. I don't know why I'm facing a player that looks like they're a beginner, because I mean it seems like they're running a very sort of beginner type deck. Really no idea why I actually got paired up with them. I mean my rank I would at least think is relatively quite high at the moment. So you know what, I'm gonna go right ahead and bring out another Aurorus. I'm just gonna keep him as our main attacking Pokemon for the time being. I feel like, you know, why not? And yeah, so let's go right ahead and use Icy Wind. I feel like we're facing a beginner player though, unfortunately, so you guys might not exactly be getting the best idea of this type of deck, but I mean the Glade will not be able to do a lot of damage to our Aurorus simply because of all the insulation that we have, and also easily be able to use Gold Potion or the Pokemon Center Lady in case that would be necessary. So let's go right ahead and bring out the Seismitoad EX once again. I'm gonna go and I don't really feel like healing our Pokemon right now. Don't think it's necessary, so I'm gonna go right ahead and use a Shauna to shuffle up our hand once again. Luckily we are able to grab out another Aurorus, so that's even more damage insulation for us. I'm gonna go right ahead and use the Starling Megaphone to get rid of our opponent's Hard Charm, and let's go right ahead and prevent our opponent from actually using any of their item cards. Again, so at this point, I mean, the Fossil Researcher is pretty much useless because I already do have all our Aurorus into our bench. So hopefully I get another useless card and I am able to bring out our very last Aurorus. I'm not actually sure if we do have it in our deck, but there you go. Our opponent's attack is absolutely unable to do anything to us, so let's go right ahead and bring out the Aurorus once again. I'm going to go right ahead and give up the Starling Megaphone and our Fossil Researcher to bring out our final Aurorus. So let's go right ahead and bring out this bad boy, and then I'm gonna go and attach a Water Energy to our bench Seismitoad EX in case I do want to use the Grenade Hammer attack. So let's go and hit our opponent's Glade for 70 damage. Unfortunately he's unable to do anything, and we've also put him to sleep thanks to our Icy Wind attack. So this looks like it's pretty much gonna be our game, guys. Don't really foresee our opponent coming back. I mean, our Pokemon, the Aurorus, is actually insulated by 80 damage at the moment, and if our Seismitoad EX was to actually come out by with the Hard Charm attachment, he's insulated from 100 damage. So very difficult for our opponent to actually deal with us. Luckily we are able to draw the Shauna and get a new set of cards at hand. So let's go right ahead and place another Seismitoad EX and attach a Water Energy to him. And we are going to go right ahead and knock out the Glade and draw another prize card. Okay, so it looks like this is pretty much going to be our game. Unfortunately, probably not the best demonstration of this type of deck, because it seems like our opponent's running some sort of beginner type deck. But you know what, a win's a win. I guess I can't really complain. Again, I'm really not sure why I actually got matched up to them, because I mean, I would think my rank is pretty high right now. I've been facing a lot of very tough players recently, which is good, in that it allows me to try and come up with the best decks possible. And it looks like our opponent's actually given up. So thank you guys very much for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and I will see